Carolyn Mason from the Downeast community of Marshallburg helped spearhead an effort to save the wild horses of Shackelford Banks after the island became part of the Cape Lookout National Seashore. Here she tells Connie Mason about the night several horses were removed from the island and euthanized, which galvanized the community to take action and led to Congress passing the 1997 Shackelford Banks Wild Horses Protection Act.
They rounded up the horses. They found that 41% of them tested positive for equine infectious anemia. They hauled them off the banks at night. We were on Harker's Island watching the big tractor lights go up and down the dunes as they loaded them into the trailers. They had these huge stock trailers, which are like horse trailers, or cattle trailers, but they've got these slots in the top you can see inside. And they had two of those huge cattle car things packed with horses off Shackelford. And there were a number of people down there. I mean, it was just as cold blowing off that water. And I happened to be standing, I was between Anita Kimball, and on the right was a man I know, not well, but knew. He's dead now. Bobby Leroy Hancock was standing beside me. When they started those big trucks up, there were lights on overhead in those trailers. And I turned to the right and looked at Bobby Leroy. And when those trucks pulled out, tears were running down his face. And I lost it. I had to leave to see a grown man cry. We wrote the letters, made phone calls. Beverly Perdue, the first copy of anything I have is a letter from Beverly Perdue to Congressman Walter Jones. She was a Democratic senator then. He's a Republican congressman, saying, look into this. I can't believe that the park is upsetting our local friends like they are. They see what's happening with these horses. Congressman Joe, it eventually came to the point that he introduced the Shackelford Banks Wild Horses Protection Act. The entire North Carolina delegation was behind it. Governor Jim Hunt, a Democratic governor, wrote Republican Congressman Walter Jones and said, thank you so much. These are a part of this state. Thank you for introducing this legislation. Governor Hunt also wrote President Bill Clinton and said, these are important to North Carolina. I've got copies of all those letters too. Yeah. Then the vote came, and it went. And when you think about the gravity of it and how democracy can work, there's this 9 mile long island off the coast of North Carolina with a few wild horses on it. And when it went before the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C., that legislation passed by a vote of 416 to 6. It passed. Jesse Helms grabbed it out of the, and brought it through the Senate, and it went up to the White House. And who is standing beside Bill Clinton telling him to sign that thing but Erskine Bowles, another North Carolinian. So I said it's like the stars were aligned for that thing to pass and get up there. And once that passed, it was a whole new ball game. Wow. And it was very cleverly done because it wasn't just thrown out there as some little standalone piece of legislation. What that bill says is go to the establishing legislation of Cape Lookout National Seashore. Go down to paragraph number so-and-so and insert. The Secretary shall allow a herd of free-roaming wild horses on Shackelford Banks.